1 week ago, a deranged killer came and killed 18 people in Maine. And you might be thinking, that was a week ago, Josh. Why are you talking about it now? And I'll tell you why. As the left always does when a deranged killer does this, by the way, he was found dead. He killed himself. As the left always does, they take to Twitter and to Facebook and YouTube in order to be the social justice warriors and show how righteous they are, that they think someone killing people is wrong. No one in America, let me just give this PSA to people on the left. No one in America thinks that gun violence is a good thing. And you're not special for posting on Twitter about how good you are for saying that we should get rid of guns. No one cares. It doesn't make you look better. It just makes you look like a jerk. And the reason why it makes you look like a jerk is because you're taking 18 people's lives and pushing your political agenda through this tragedy. I've always said this when it comes to these things, especially with bombings and with just large mass murders. I even felt this way with Israel. I waited a little while to get the details. Let's wait for the details to come out first. Let's let the families cope and deal with this tragedy before we start talking about the politics of it all. And we have to talk about the politics of it all. And that's not something I'm blind to, because when there's a tragedy, we don't want it to happen again. And that's perfectly reasonable. As always, I am sponsored by Gulag America. Gulag America is a patriotic apparel clothing brand. Again, you can get their stuff at gulagamerica.com. I've partnered with them because I love their clothing. Super high quality, fantastic. I'm going to actually put some up on the screen right now. Fantastic, just like slogans and designs on the shirts. They make as a fantastic Christmas present for your conservative family members, brothers, sisters, parents, uncles, aunts, nieces, nephews. Go check them out right now at gulagamerica.com. If you use my code JoshCar10, you will get 10% off. Again, don't wait until like it's the day before Christmas. They ship them out in like a week. It's really awesome. Shipping is really cheap. The clothing is really high quality. Again, go check them out at gulagamerica.com so that you're not scared last minute because you don't have that gift for your family. But as someone who has personally had tragedies in my life that's affected my family, it sucks when people start talking about the politics of it all and having it plastered on the news, because it makes it very impersonal. And to those people who lost their family members, it's very personal. And if you polled any one of those 18 people and you said, hey, or rather the families of the 18 people who died, and said, hey, do you think that guns should be outlawed? Those people are going to have wildly different opinions on the issue. All the families of the 18 people are not going to be like, yeah, ban the guns. They're going to feel differently about it. Why? Because they're individuals. And so I think we assume oftentimes that our political agenda fits in with the tragedy of someone else. So it's been a week since we've had those details, and I want to talk about some of the details surrounding the shooter and my take on what we can do to avoid these things. So we learned that the shooter basically thought there was a conspiracy against him. This is details that just came out through their investigation. The shooter essentially thought there was a conspiracy against him with some businesses nearby and even some members of his family to make him look like a pedophile. And again, not all the details are out, so it's a little bit of a wonder why that is. It's not super clear to us. But it is very clear that he did not have his mental faculties with him. For whatever reason, he thought there was a conspiracy, that people were out to get him. So he was in the Army Reserve, like many of these people are. They usually have military experience. Obviously, he had a lot of access to guns. And for a short period of time, he actually agreed to keep his guns in a safe with a code that he didn't know. And this was at the request of his brother and his father. And this was very wise. Obviously, they saw these signs. They saw the writing on the wall. Unfortunately, and we don't know right now if the brother and the father knew this, but this man had a key to the safe. There was a code and a key to get in. He had the key, not the code. So he kept the key. This was a mistake, obviously. He told people later that he was hearing voices, that he was planning violence. And instead of just getting rid of the safe of guns and taking away his ability to kill people in the same way, they did not tell people. And obviously, there were awful consequences to that. So what does this mean to me? What it means to me is that there's an epidemic of bad mental health. He literally said he was hearing voices. This is not a normal thing. This is not a normal person. There's an epidemic of bad health, especially for men in America, and it has to be taken care of. Because one of the things that's really sad is Again, think about how sad, and this is no sympathy, by the way, for the shooter, but think about the family of the shooter and what they must be going through. I think about that often because loved ones have the responsibility to serve and minister to their family members first. And it's clear that in this instance, there has been an erosion of that culture in our community. And so essentially what I'm trying to say is that leftist policies have isolated people into doing much of this. And the attack on the family and on men as well are in many ways the catalyst to more tragedies like this happening. The more and more, when we see these warning signs, the more and more people can feel comfortable to come forward and tell authorities about this, the less and less these tragedies will happen. And that only happens when we have a strong community, when we have strong families, when we have better mental health. Then these things wouldn't happen in the first place. The answer, and this is where obviously conservatives and liberals just completely divide on the topic of guns, the answer to someone doing a heinous act is not to take away the God-given rights of others, the people who don't have mental health issues. However, the answer might just be a stronger knit community, a trust between law enforcement and your average day citizen where they can tell law enforcement about these high-risk individuals, a stronger family unit where this man doesn't feel like his family is conspiring against him. These things would have saved those 18 people. And so God bless their families, and God bless that town in Maine who is going through this tragedy at this time. Hopefully, through strong family and community-oriented principles, we can avoid these in the future while still maintaining the God-given rights of America's citizens. That's everything I have for you guys today. Again, thank you so much for watching this video. If you guys got a little bit of entertainment or value out of it, please subscribe down below. Comment what your thoughts are on the 2024 election and the shooting that happened in Maine. I would love to talk it out and see what you guys think. Thanks, guys.